Welcome to the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. This is Outsider Trading, an audio and video deep dive into the people, places, and things that we find most interesting in the market.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Investing Podcast. Andrew Hall here, Matt Krebsbach, and Ben Nye. How's it going, guys?
Well,
Good. Fun morning here. Lots of podcasts going down. We are going to be out of town middle of this week, going to Chicago. Invest for Kids. You excited?
going to World Series.
Probably going to go to the World Series. Trying to get Matt Burton to extend the trip one night so we can go to a World Series game. The odds on that are like less than 1 in a billion.
I'm sure saying there's a chance.
That might cost us like 20 grand in tickets.
I think,
no, not kidding either.
Yeah. They're like, I saw the other day. I looked because we were talking about it. It was like $3,600 a pop to go to Wrigley. So,
but if any of our viewers want to donate,
if you want to donate or just refresh the article a lot on Seeking Alpha, eventually we'll get there. I think. I don't know how they count those things, but that'd be really helpful. Speaking of Seeking Alpha, follow us on there. Tusk Media, also on Twitter at Tusk Media LLC. We're going to give you updates from Chicago. We're going to eat pizza. We're going to go to a conference. We're going to eat more pizza. We're going to watch baseball on TV, probably. All kinds of fun activities coming your way on Tusk Media's Twitter account. Speaking of Twitter, we did Twitter earnings preview. We did earnings previews for a lot of companies since we're going to be out of town. So check all those out. We hit on Twitter. We hit on Boeing. We hit on Cabot Microelectronics. We hit on, I can't even remember.
We're generalist shop here.
Yeah, we are all over the place. And right now we're going to talk about Google. So guys, Google earnings coming up. Kind of an interesting company because it becomes very difficult to even really know what to look for. So I'll start down with Ben. Ben, what are you looking for in earnings, and what's the story you're following most?
I'm looking for the utilization of their assets. I think they have phenomenal assets. They have tremendous market share, and I think they have been underutilized until the recent new management change at the CFO position. And I think she's continuing to make stepwise improvements in that regard. It just seemed like every time you would listen to a Google conference call would be, well, we're playing around with how many clicks. We were just kind of experimenting with this. There wasn't really a program. It's crazy for the amount of intelligence at the company that there was a lot of testing that was going on at the company. And I think that testing has been more streamlined, and they're getting faster and faster to an endpoint on a lot of these initiatives that they have. So I'm looking for continued stepwise improvements in actually the operations and the efficiency of the business, and looking to actually maximize the assets that they have.
So it's kind of like they've been driving around in a Lamborghini, but just testing out their turn signals.
Exactly.
Like seeing how well those things work. So looking for that utilization. Krebsbach, what are some things you're looking at?
I'm probably going to piggyback on that a little bit. Just more simple. I would just look at their cost per click, which is what I think it really comes down to for Google. And like what Ben was touching on, with them trying to like focus more on actually monetizing that, you're probably going to see that be a good clip or be a good readout. I would expect that to happen.
And cost per click is not a cost for them, is it?
No.
It's actually revenue. It's like their revenue per click.
Right.
But they like to be different that way.
Yeah, so CPC, something to keep an eye on.
One other thing, I'm also really curious on their other bet segment. I think that's really interesting to see like how that stuff plays out. Like all their
like, alpha
like random
bets
that they've thrown that. It's been like a train wreck for like ever, but it's interesting to see how it plays out.
Any particular components there?
No.
So keep an eye on that.
The Google car is part of that segment, right?
Yeah, I believe so. They also have the home system thing.
The Nest.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
The Nest just sounds awesome. It sounds so ridiculously cozy and so technology driven.
Yeah.
Like Nest sounds like I'm going back in time to the good old days where everything was connected to one internet connection and everything's like satisfied itself. That's what I'm thinking about with the Nest.
Yeah.
Simpler time. Right? Going back in time. So with earnings and expectations, really kind of that focus on almost just the efficiency. How well are they leveraging this technology? Do you think it's going to be a good quarter with that in mind? Or, obviously it could be a bad quarter, or are you expecting just to learn almost from the conference call? What's kind of your read through that you're focusing on, Ben?
I think that the quarter will be interesting to note. I think it's always difficult. You almost have to discount the Google quarters because there is so much noise from quarter to quarter. They almost enjoy the fact that they don't manage the business from quarter to quarter, because I think it makes them feel like they know more than Wall Street, which I think they kind of like to be. Yeah,
They might,
and they like to be in that position. And I do think that they're doing a lot of the right things. I think they generally do have the smartest people in the room, and
unless we're there.
right.
Let's keep going.
The search business is clearly the driver, and at the core of them, they are a digital advertising company, and I think they're the premier digital advertising company. I think that a lot of people might take issue with that. They might think Facebook's better, but I think in terms of measurement and in terms of how long they've been around and the efficacy of what they've been showing in terms of actually demonstrating that their advertising model works, I think that's a big reason to advertise with Google and be a customer with Google. And I think large companies are more willing to put money into Google than to Facebook when they think about their advertising spend.
Pixel though. Don't rule out Pixel.
Pixel.
The phone.
Oh yeah, well, you want to talk about that?
I don't have much on it. Do you?
It's actually had very good reviews.
Yeah,
actually.
it really has.
And the people are saying that it's kind of like the Apple product in terms of, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. If you want a good podcast, you just got to do it yourself.
Do you know when that comes out, or like when they actually release that?
I don't know.
Sorry to put you on the spot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much for having a good podcast, right? With Google, you mentioned the ad revenue and kind of who's an effective partner for it. I think it's kind of, as you said, kind of an established model. They've kind of carved out that space really as the dominant player there. And then you contrast that with some of the negative headlines we've seen advertisement-wise with Facebook, as well as, Ben, you've done some actual advertisement on your own on Facebook, not for yourself, but
Right.
for a company. And kind of interesting to hear, have you ever used Google? Have you done any advertising with that?
I've done a little bit with Google. It is expensive. It's very catered to, if you're a law firm in a certain area, then you're willing to pay a lot of money to be in that number one spot.
Yeah.
I bet, I bet divorce law, for instance, is one of the highest paid kind of cost per clicks, because the ability to make a lot of money off that click is quite high.
Right.
What was interesting to me is Sam, who declined to be our invitation for the podcast this morning.
Scared money don't make money, Sam.
He actually put together some interesting charts on Google. And what's interesting to me is Google relative to Facebook. Google's US, so this is US, monthly users have really diverged substantially to the positive side versus Facebook. While Facebook is kind of flatlined, according to this data, Google's just continues to grow, further cementing their position as the market leader, and demonstrating that Lamborghini is very much intact.
You can do more than left and right turns.
Yeah.
Krebs, any other data points you're looking for? Any other storylines on Google?
No, I'm keeping it simple. Keeping it simple.
There we go. Any closing thoughts?
Watch the cost per click, but keep it all in context of the larger story that is Google.
There we go. Thanks, you guys. We'll be back with lots of content this week. Hit subscribe.
Tusk Media is a subsidiary of Narwhal Capital Management. Ratings and reviews of Tusk Media content are not to be construed as endorsements of opinions, analysis, or services offered by Tusk or its parent company. The opinions and predictions shared here are our professional beliefs at the time of publication. We are not under duress from any of the corporate entities mentioned. This is not a solicitation to take any particular action. Although we are investment advisors, this information should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. We strive to be as impartial, insightful, and accurate as possible. We base our opinions, analysis, and calculations on information we believe to be reliable, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy. We can, however, guarantee that our opinions will sometimes be flat out wrong due to a variety of factors. Employees and clients of Narwhal Capital Management may or may not hold positions in the securities detailed and may or may not hold these positions in the future. A full list of all securities purchased, sold, or held during the 12 months preceding the date of this publication can be provided upon request. Unless otherwise noted, all data accessed via MarketWatch or the Bloomberg terminal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. A copy of Narwhal's Form ADV is available at the SEC's website, www.advisorinfo.sec.gov, or from Narwhal upon written request.